random electronics education, or electrical education rather. Is that too bright? There we go. I'm working on the stereo setup here. I got all my stuff from storage finally, and this is a mixer. I got this a while back at Goodwill bins, and well, it's got 4 inputs on it. It's got some phono inputs, mic amp, and a bunch of other random stuff. But I was having an issue where one of the channels on each side wasn't working. Turns out I had to take apart the whole thing and essentially bend the pins inside the RCA jacks. Well, they're all working now except for one. And the reason for that is there is a bad solder joint. Let's see if we can pick it up on here. Probably hard to see, but it's right here. The pad is partially ripped off the board, and the RCA jacks are sort of on little stands with wires that connect them, and anyways, that needs to be done. The reason I'm talking about this, though, is ground loops are a very real thing, and I need to use a soldering iron. The second I plug in the soldering iron, which is not of the grounded variety, it's one of these old Weller 140 watt things. As soon as I plug that in, all the other equipment that's connected to this thing is also plugged in. To clarify, when I say it's plugged in, I mean the RCA cables are plugged in. The mixer is unplugged from mains or from the outlet, but because of the RCA cables being connected to other devices that are plugged in, or even if they're not plugged in, that's when you can end up with ground looping. So I'm not soldering on it with it plugged into live voltage, is what I'm trying to say. And you can end up with a ground loop, or if the polarity is not exactly right, things can catch fire. Now, I'm far too lazy to unhook all this. It took forever to get this wiring set up. I don't want to go around and unplug all the equipment. So here's my answer. This is sort of a jump box. It has a power inverter built into it. So we're going to run the soldering iron on this thing. There we go. Now I'm free to solder on that thing. It's just one quick connection, and we're completely isolated from everything else. So that's my ghetto solution to that. Full isolation.